Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back and welcome back to the Hismario123 show, and did you know that there's a Mario universe timeline?
That's right.
All the Mario games are connected by one big timeline. Of course it's unofficial and it's not officially endorsed by Nintendo, but you look through the timeline and things actually make a hell of a lot of sense. Almost feeling like every single Mario game was meant to be put in this timeline in a very specific order, making the Mario timeline. Now, a lot of the research into the Mario timeline has been done by r/MarioVerse, and this specific timeline that I'm going off is the timeline created by Sean D. Walsh. So, shout out for the Mario timeline. They actually have an entire page going through the whole thing. It's very long, we're not going through the whole thing. The main reason why I was looking into this is because I was eventually going to make a main channel video going through the Mario timeline properly and deciphering things. I talked about it in another video when I talked about the ending of Captain Toad. My made-up ending doesn't make sense in this timeline. But let's begin going through the Mario timeline. Mario and Luigi leave the magical land where babies come from, carried by a stork, leading us into, some people say Yoshi's Island, I say Yoshi's Island, who cares? It's that, or Super Mario Advance 3, or Super Mario World 2, depending on what you want to call it. Fun fact, in development, Yoshi's Island was actually called Super Mario Bros. 5 as a subtitle instead of Super Mario World 2. Cool. Anyway, we obviously know what happens in that game, and then by the end Mario and Luigi are gonna get delivered to their home, but then it's revealed in the 3DS game, Yoshi/Yoshi's New Island, that it was the wrong home. This game is not great, but it has some very weird things that kind of establish a lot of the rest of the Mario universe. Things that we don't really realize are established until much later on. But at the very end of this game, spoilers, Mario and Luigi are delivered to their parents in the Mushroom Kingdom, but there's another game that takes place in between the sort of ending of Yoshi's New Island and Mario and Luigi being delivered to their parents. But by the end of that game, you get the ending of Yoshi's New Island. But we're not done with those island games. Oh no, we still have Yoshi/Yoshi's Island DS, which has Baby Mario and Baby Luigi kidnapped from their house in the Mushroom Kingdom, making it a bit different. And then after that, we get the infamous Vermin for the Game & Watch. If you don't know what the Game & Watch is, it's a series of Nintendo consoles that were made before the NES that were little LCD games that weren't much, but in Game Boy Color games called the Game & Watch Gallery, they actually remade a few of these games. So specifically in the timeline is Vermin Modern from those games, where there's 6 Yoshi/Yoshis that appear, and there's a egg that hatches, which is a Yoshi. You see it again in the game Yoshi/Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64. Crazy. We go through that game, then we go Greenhouse Modern, another one of those Game & Watch games. And then we get to the events of the past of Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, where future Mario and future Luigi meet their baby counterparts. This is what I mean. Time travel exists in the Mario universe, and chronologically, the first time you see it is in Yoshi's New Island, because present-day Mario and Bowser appear in that game. It gets very crazy. Anyway, after a while, Mario and Luigi move to New Donk City, from Mario Odyssey. And then we go through Mario's Bombs Away, which is when Mario was in war. And then we go Mario Cement Factory, Wrecking Crew, Donkey Kong Circus. This is actually, I think, where Mario meets Donkey Kong for the first time. Then we get Greenhouse, which is I think it's a Game & Watch game, and Donkey Kong Hockey. And then we finally get to the arcade game Donkey Kong, where Mario has to save Pauline, who's his girlfriend at the time. Kinda crazy. And guess where that game takes place? You kind of find out in Super Mario Odyssey, but that's in New Donk City. So Mario at this point in time is still living in New Donk City. But you're starting to see threads, just come in. They're all coming together. All of the Donkey Kong related stuff takes place in New Donk City, as in not Donkey Kong Country, but old Donkey Kong. That's New Donk City. It's been in front of us this entire time and we never noticed until Super Mario Odyssey. Then there's Donkey Kong Game & Watch, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong Jr. again, Donkey Kong just Donkey Kong 2, which is a Game & Watch game. There wasn't actually an arcade or console version of Donkey Kong 2. Donkey Kong 3, some of them are there twice because there's the console version and then the Game & Watch version and then the arcade version. It gets confusing. Even with Mario Bros, there's the Game & Watch version which takes place before the arcade version. And in between those two is Pinball and Donkey Kong Jr. Math. And then finally, after Mario Bros, we get to Super Mario Bros. So, Koopas started to invade like New Donk City and all that stuff in Mario Bros. But because of the events of Mario Bros, Mario and Luigi were sent to the Mushroom Kingdom. And then we go through the events of Super Mario Bros., then Lost Levels, then the Game & Watch Super Mario Bros., then Famicom Grand Prix F1 Race. Famicom Grand Prix F1 Race actually came before Mario Kart, but you do play as Mario, and this, canonically, is Mario's first time racing, because Super Mario Kart hasn't happened yet. Mario Kart games, spoiler alert, not all at the same time, but all released in chronological order. So Super Mario Kart, then some things, then Mario Kart 64, then some things in Double Dash. And then of course, after that one, there's Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally. And then there's Donkey Kong 94 for the Game Boy. This Mario goes back to New Donk City, and Donkey Kong's there, and Mario has to save Pauline. Then Donkey Kong Jr. Modern, which is the Game & Watch version. Just gets to some interesting stuff. So after a while, we go through, Mario the Juggler, a classic. Then we finally get to Super Mario Bros. 3. This is the first time the Koopalings and Mario meet, and this is the first proper time that Princess Peach actually knows who Mario is, because Mario saved Princess Peach in Super Mario Bros. Without really knowing who she was, and vice versa, so he was still with Pauline at the time, so yeah. And then after that, of course, this is the most logical thing to come after Super Mario Bros. 3. Yoshi Topsy-Turvy. And then it's Super Mario World. But see, the reason why a lot of like that takes place before Super Mario World is because Yoshi doesn't live in the Mushroom Kingdom yet. And I know Super Mario World also doesn't, because they go to Dinosaur Land. But, and then whatever, Super Mario World happens. And then it's of course Tetris Attack. And then finally, Donkey Kong 3 Modern. And then Rain Shower Modern. And at this point in time, Donkey Kong Jr. is still a baby. Because Donkey Kong Jr., I don't know if you know this, Donkey Kong Jr. is normal Donkey Kong's dad. And Cranky Kong is the arcade Donkey Kong. And then of course after that is Dr. Mario. In case you didn't know, Mario is not a legitimate doctor, but he still pretends to be a doctor. And then of course Super Mario RPG, and this has to take place at this specific point in time because Mario has not learned the Yoshi language yet. We're just chucking games in random places at this rate. Like, there's not, So after all them, if we're going through main games only, we get to Donkey Kong Country. Oh no, Super Mario Kart, then Donkey Kong Country, then Donkey Kong Land, and then Super Mario Bros. 2. And then after that, of course, I don't know if you've heard of it, BS Super Mario USA. In Japan, there was this thing called the Satellaview, which was a thing that added on to the Super Famicom that connected it to the internet, kinda, sorta, like through radio signal. It was this whole thing, and you could download games, sort of, not really. You could only play them at specific times, and one of them was BS Super Mario USA, which was sort of like a sequel to Super Mario USA, which if you don't know is Super Mario Bros. 2, that most of us know because Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually a reskin of another game called Doki Doki Panic. Then after that is Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Funnily enough, a remake of this game was announced yesterday when I'm recording this. So, it actually has a lot of references, according to this website, to BS Super Mario USA. Okay. But this is obviously when Mario opens up his toy factory and... Well, not opens, he already had it open, but he starts making mini Marios. And it takes place in New Donk City. And then we got some other fun stuff, and then we finally get Mario Party, followed by Mario Party 2, followed by Super Mario Land. This is interesting though, because in Mario Party 2, all the characters are arguing about what the name of this land will be, and the whole plot of Mario Party 2, and the winner of the party ends up being Mario, and the land ends up being called, and of course it's shown that Wario is not a fan of this. In Super Mario Land 2, Wario takes over Mario Land. It's all connected. It makes so much sense. And then eventually it becomes Wario Land. Wario just keeps buying castles. That's a common recurrence throughout the Mario timeline. Wario loves castles. He loves castles. But yeah, we go through a lot of the Wario games now. Wario Land 2, Wario's Woods, Wario Land 3, Dr. Mario 64, which ties into Wario Land, Mario Party 3, which is actually the first time everyone meets Waluigi, and then Paper Mario. Now obviously, Mario isn't made out of paper. We all know this, right? But the events of Paper Mario did actually happen, the Mario game. It was just not in paper. There was this alternate universe where everything in the Mario universe that was seen thus far was all paper. And it's not until a game in the future that Paper Mario figures out that he's made out of paper. Because obviously, everyone's made out of paper. So, this is what I mean. There is alternate universes, kinda. Then Super Mario 64, after that one. Then we get, like, the King Boo Chronicles. We go through how King Boo's, like, kidnapped, and then Luigi's Mansion, and, you know, all this stuff. We get Mario Kart 64. Then we get all these other fun games. Donkey Kong Country 3. I just want to get to it. We're going to talk about one more thing in this timeline. I will, as I said, make a main channel video about this. Don't worry. There is one thing, though, that I find absolutely fascinating. Okay, wait, I'm still scrolling to find it. Have you heard of the game Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix? Well, if you haven't, it's a Dance Dance Revolution game that stars Mario. Now you would think, okay, so it's just a little fun thing. It is a major plot point to the Mario universe going forward as a whole. At the end of Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, it's implied and pretty much almost revealed that all of the Mario characters can now hear the background music that plays in every single game, leading to New Super Mario Bros. When all the Koopa Troopers dance to the music. But that's not the most insane thing. The most insane thing is that at the end of Super Mario Galaxy, Bowser accidentally resets the entire universe, and then Mario would have a whole history of basically the same thing, leading to the events of Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is set in this new timeline. The Mario universe is insane.